This is the 32nd issue of Jason Aaron's Avengers. Wow, this was a heavy book. So it begins, and you knew from the start when I read this paragraph, wow. Usually, the first paragraph of a comic book is to let that new reader know what's been going on in this comic book, and then they can jump right in and they won't be lost. This covered the Squadron Supreme, the vampires, Mephisto and his interest in Tony Stark, letting me know everything I needed to know before I read this book, just reminding me. And then we go to Namor, and apparently every single enemy of the Avengers who we met had a representation by Mephisto. Mephisto being the devil of the Marvel universe. Devil, God, all that shit in Marvel, I hate it. No, there was a funny joke in here when Thor was called the Godfather. LOL. So the bartender in Atlantis, that man is working for Mephisto. The Jarvis, the butler that works for the Russians, who was killed, was working for Mephisto. By the way, since he's such an insignificant character, his death, is final. It lands heavy with me. But if you were to kill a main character, I'm like, oh, I'm sure some magician's gonna twirl his wand and return this character back to the land of the living. So that's because that's this comic books. I roll my eyes every time somebody dies. The Winter Guardian. Oh, by the way, since I'm complimenting this dude, too many advertisements. Okay, advertisement, all over the place. Even on the last page, I'm trying to read what's coming next, but there was an advertisement on the left side. Finally, look at the right side. By the way, this image of Red Widow with all of the words, and I'm trying to guess who's actually speaking. Is it the Black Widow? Is it Blade? I'd rather read. I'd rather watch pictures of other things than two characters standing, talking to each other. Okay, Ed McGuiness, draw them talking again, but now he stood up. Okay, Ed McGuiness, draw. No, he didn't do that. Jason Aaron drew Red Widow in her creepy little quarters, and then he drew the North Pole, which is surrounded by water. Ice is surrounded by water, so watch out for that invasion that's coming. And then they showed Blade and Black Widow finally talking to each other, and she convinces Blade to stick it around. Good. I want to see Blade stick around. The baby Starbrand. Tony's joking about, yo, I've been gone, and what is it? My kid? No, it's not your kid. Thor's hair is short. If you read the Thor comic book, his hair is long. This story happens before what Donny Cates is writing in Thor, or they just didn't coordinate. I'm gonna go with this story happens before, because my guy Ed McGuiness gets excuses. And again, Agent Coulson is actually the representative of Mephisto. He was on the phone with him, and I thought, maybe they would use the president, and I don't want them to use any current president in Marvel Comics, because then it doesn't age well. He was actually on the phone with Mephisto. All right. He's doing his dirt, and he's actually in jail. If you remember reading Champions, Mephisto wasn't in jail. There's a lot of inconsistencies. And then finally, I couldn't believe this. Namor is seeking counseling with who else but the Phoenix Force. More fiery. What? Whoa. That was my reaction to it. I saw red. I'm like, yeah, Mephisto. This was cool. So good job by the artwork. Look at it. It's so active. Last time we saw Phoenix Force was when Phoenix Resurrection, when Jean Grey she just a skedaddle. I don't need you anymore. And it got smaller and smaller. I knew it wasn't dead. I knew it wasn't gone. But here it is back. Almost 2 years later. The Phoenix Force is back in Marvel Comics. And Namor is trying to use it. Come to me, Phoenix. Help me lay waste to the Avengers, and I will set galaxies ablaze for you. Yo. Namor, you had an encounter with the Phoenix back in AVX. This leads more to my theory that there will be an XVA coming up. That's how the Jonathan Hickman stuff will culminate, is the word. But the Phoenix and you didn't get along too well. This time around, if they're going to use the Phoenix to destroy the Avengers, This is Avengers level threat stuff. This is why I read this. So I don't read Daredevil. I want this magnificent. Oh my god, the stakes are so high. I want to see what. Can you imagine if the Phoenix Force gets inside of the Celestial base? It would be destroyed then, and that's too soon. I kind of like that they have a headquarters in the North Pole, which is surrounded by water, like I said. That's the review. I'm gonna read another comic and talk to you about it. Bye.